Hey, y'all, this is Rob back with the Robb Report, courtesy of 50 Rags Outreach. And, I wanted to get started off today by just saying that it's a different day for me. I had a death in the family, and I asked you guys weeks ago to pray for my Aunt Cecile. And, God has another plan for her, So, like, it was really hard for me for the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to say on the air, that I love my aunt. She was somebody that really showed me love, and it's hard for men. It's hard just growing up, growing up confused, growing up in the inner city and not knowing who really loves you and who really cares about you, And so, like, I really lost somebody that really hurt me that I know really genuinely loved me, because when you live this life, it's really hard. And like a lot of us, for that lack of love and self-love, we run to them streets, where we don't feel that love. We feel it with the homies, and we run to the streets and stuff. And so, like, it's a huge loss for me, but I just wanted to thank you guys for praying for my aunt, and like I said, God has a plan for her, and so I just hope that heaven will accept her. And so what I wanted to do today was just something a little bit different. I wanted to, moving forward, I wanted to get the women a little bit more involved in how we do things and how we structure things around here. So we're going to do an interview today with a woman, hopefully. And before we get started, I want to just give a normal shout-out to my family back home in Detroit. And I know they're going through it right now, but just everybody just be strong, and we'll make it through this, And I just want to give a shout-out to all my family everywhere, everyone that loves and supports me and supports what I'm doing. I just want to give that love to everybody. Of course, I want to give a shout-out to my homies, the Block Boys out there. I just hope everybody can stay alive. And, I just hope that life changes for everybody. My Raw Dogs out there in Vancouver, I just hope that everybody can stay alive. And, God has a real plan for us, But anyways, just keeping in tune with the women, I wanted to, to be more informative as we move forward, too, And so what I wanted to talk about was women in corrections for a minute. And so, like, what people don't know is that, mass incarceration for women has actually went up, and it's like double the time of men with the new opioid epidemic and different things like that. And so, there's a lot going on. For example, there's this correctional facility called Huron Valley, and they were charged with sexual abuse. They just had some rallies out there on January 2nd and January 16th, and, they had 5 law firms sued them, and they had the women, and like I believe it was like 146 women said they were sexually assaulted in a prison. And these are some of the things that stay on the inside where people don't know, what's really going on in these prisons. You think that you're coming to get corrected, and other things are happening in these prisons. Now there was also last December, New Jersey, I don't know, was on TV, so everybody should have saw it. The acting attorney general charged 5 officers, and they got charged and they got convicted. And there was actually a case where a woman was actually raped and got pregnant by an officer, So, like, I don't want to just bash on officers or anything like that, but I just want to highlight that, women have problems too in this world, and there's a lot of things that go on in these prisons that just don't go reported, And then also we had a couple years ago in the county that I fell from, Clark County, where we had one of the officers did something disgusting to one of the females, and he ended up getting charged. So, there's just a lot to unpack there. We got to understand why the women are going to prisons, and then how come they're not getting those protections when they get to the prisons, and how many prisons cover these things up versus how many come to the forefront, and how many times do you have to file a complaint, before you're taken serious, So I would just encourage everyone to understand that even though we're locked up, there's things that happen also while we're locked up in these prisons too that just go, sometimes they go unreported or they're covered up, So anyways, I just want to do that and just highlight that for the women. Today, I'm going to interview a lady, and she's actually a victim of violence. Her name is Lisa. And I'm going to let her, and before I even let anything else back, I'm just going to get with Jessica. Jessica, what's up before we get going?
Well, part of the reason why we're doing this whole women's, we're focusing on women's, which started out with, introducing the domestic violence program that we're laying the foundation for. But, March is Women's History Month.
That's right.
So can't forget to mention that. I kept waiting for you to say it, but that's what we're doing.
Well, I was tagging you in.
Okay.
I was gonna tag you in. That's where you gotta get updates. So come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah, March is Women's History Month, so we're gonna focus on women all month of March. So every interview that we're doing in the Robb Report is going to be with a woman this month. All different aspects of, different things that we're trying to focus on. Domestic violence, gang violence, victims of violence, women who have been incarcerated. So we've got a bunch of great women, great interviews lined up for this month.
Right on. Now let me ask you this too: where is everything at in the Filthy Rags Outreach Network? Where are things at? How are things looking? Any new developments? Anything that we're working on that we need to make the public aware of?
We are currently in the beginning stages. I know we should have probably started this months ago, but we're in the beginning stages of planning maybe 2 different events this summer. One of them is going to be like a community event, community style event, like a jump off. We're thinking sometime in July, somewhere in Seattle. We got a couple places we're looking at, but I don't want to name any names until we got it locked in. But that's going to be a community event where a bunch of different nonprofits hopefully will come, and we'll have music and sell t-shirts and hang out and food, and we'll have some entertainment, some MCs, some guys, you guys calling in and speaking to people in the community, some music, some speakers. Just it'll be a really good time. And then that'll be leading up to the second event, which would be kind of like a community style fundraiser where we're hoping to invite a lot of city officials and different people in the government, and also other people involved in other nonprofits, trying to get our funds up.
Right on. And I definitely see something good, in this, especially with all this violence that's going on with these younger kids. This younger demographic is just off the hook. I believe there was this last weekend, there was just 3 murders in downtown Seattle. And I don't even know how this type of stuff's going to continue to work, because you're going to run a lot of businesses out of there. And so, everyone talks about the Tough on Crime initiatives and different things like that. But, we can talk about all that stuff, but we got to put some work in, because, these younger cats, they're going to force people's hands. When women start getting scared and businesses start running up out of there, they're going to start doing more time. Guys ain't going to be able to get the paroles that they need to get out of here early, even when the guy's working hard, So, yeah, I definitely see a lot of benefits in that. Only thing I question is that, we've been doing this work for a while, Jessica, and it's it's great that we're going to invite a lot of nonprofits, but, these people know the work that we're doing, but they're not really trying to contribute. You know what I mean? It's it feels weird to me that, we're trying to do all this work, and then these people know what we're doing, but they're not trying to add to us financially so we can build the infrastructure that we need. So I want you to just quickly again tell everybody about our site, or what they can look at to donate.
Okay. I will get to that. First thing I wanted to address was how you were talking about running businesses out of Seattle. I wanted to touch base with that. There, I read an article the other day. There is a really, really popular bakery. It's a Russian bakery. It was called Piroshki, and I remember going. It was right in Pike Place Market, and every time me and my family would go down to Pike Place Market, we'd go down there and we'd stop there. And they were just in the news the other day. I saw it on Twitter. They're leaving because of the crime, and they've been in that area for I want to say at least 20 years. And she's on there talking about, because of the people talking about, defund the police and all that stuff, and there being a lack of police officers and police presence in that area. There's just been so much crime happening right in front of their store. They don't feel safe. And, one of their employees got attacked. And so they're just shutting down business. So it's real. What you're talking about,
Yeah, I seen something too on the news where there was a Asian lady that got attacked out there the other day as well, and then I see where these guys are pulling their pants down and using the bathroom in front of businesses and different things. And so, man, that's what I don't like. I don't get it, how you have people out here that want to try to reach these people, try to help save businesses and these different things of that nature, but it's we're going to give the money to the people that don't want to do the work. We're going to give it to the people that can just go ahead and spend it on their families and these different things. And then we have all these businesses that are running out of the city, right? So it doesn't really, it's not resonating with me. It really makes my blood boil when you get people that really want to help, and then they're not allowed to help. It's man, is this on purpose or what's going on? But, yeah, so definitely give them the information where we can have people donating, because I think realistically we're going to have a lot of community members and people donating for us to have any real success.
Yes, that is true. you can go to our website, www.filthyregsoutreach.org/donate, and donate one time, donate monthly. We'd love your support. You can also go online and check out all of our work. The Robb Report is on the podcast tab. You can go to the event tab once we figure out the date and location for the event. That will be listed up there. Check everything else out. Support us. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to start needing to get that support, because other than that, I don't see a platform for anybody coming out of Seattle. Actually, when I look at just Seattle, and I hate to rag on Seattle, but, when I look at what's going on over there, I just see a dump now, so much so that, I fell out of Clark County. And the people in Clark County are saying, hey, here, send all your businesses down here. So if them guys are smart, they will send their business to Clark County, and they're going to flourish out there, because it doesn't make sense to me how, you can keep getting killed down there, how people can, you guys don't value your downtown area, you know what I mean? The place where everything's at, where you got these historic landmark donut shops and different things like that. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? This don't make sense to me, and I guess maybe it's just because I'm getting older, but I just see things differently, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, we're definitely here to try to create that awareness. We're definitely here to do this work, and we're definitely passionate about this work. So why don't we go ahead and bring up old Lisa?
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, sorry about the wait. We on?
We're on.
All right, hey Lisa.
Hello.
Hey, okay, so check it out. Before we get started, I just wanted to start by saying this is the first for Filthy Rags Outreach, because we're doing our first interview with a victim of violence. I wanted to lead off by saying anyone who may listen to this, there's no way to be transparent and expose the false realities of this lifestyle without exposing reality as well. Now, I know you lost someone to gang violence, and I wanted to be very careful not to overstep my boundaries, and I wanted to give you my word that I will be very responsible and delicate with your situation. So I just want to turn it over to you for a few minutes, Lisa, and give you the opportunity to tell your story.
Okay. My name is Lisa Lynch. My daughter's name is Malijha Grant. She was shot and killed in Kent, Washington on April 16th, 2015, in a drive-by shooting. She's 1 year old. She just turned 1. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I think I had already prepared the people that are listening to understand this is going to be a different kind of an interview. Before, I go any further, I just wanted to say that the violence just has moved to an all-time low, you know what I'm saying, where you target the kids. Because I know that, even when I was growing up, that's just not where it's at. There's there's kind of, this saying, honor amongst thieves and rules of engagement, and so, my heart goes out to you, because I just, I can't imagine what it's like, you know what I'm saying? So, there was just some rules that were broke, and, it's just my job, to be honest with what goes on in these streets. So, oh, man, I just don't see where there's any regard for kids now, and I had the same situation happen where somebody was using Facebook, and putting messages out there threatening my goddaughter's kid, and her kid ain't even a year, right? So I think this is just really ridiculous, and I hope that people can hear this and people can learn from it. But I wanted to talk to you about your experiences, Lisa, at the time of the incident. You're a victim of a drive-by shooting, so let's just go to that for a minute. Can you describe just what was going on, where you were driving, and at what point did you realize that you were being shot at, and then how did you react to that?
I was actually driving home from work. I had just picked my daughter up from her babysitter's house. Just went to Safeway, was getting some food to go home and cook and get my son off his school bus. We were coming up Reith Road, excuse me, in Kent. I heard 2 gunshots. I took a left turn, and my kid's father heard the gunshots. He pulled my head down and said, "Somebody's shooting at us." He pulled my head down. We then crashed into a tree. Another 3 gunshots went off. I luckily put my head up and I was able to identify the car and see two people with their hands out shooting. They then started off. I immediately was in panic mode. Couldn't, to this day, I still do not like wearing my seatbelt because I felt like it took me too long to get my seatbelt off. I couldn't get to my daughter. I jump out the car and I look in the back seat and I see my daughter kind of face forward, like launching over, and I see a gunshot to the back of her head. I immediately, me and my kid's dad are both panicking. I'm screaming, somebody help. All of a sudden I see a bunch of people coming out. I couldn't get to my daughter. I was just panicking, screaming. There was actually a lady that ran out from the apartments and took my daughter out and started doing CPR on her. 2 minutes later, there was an ambulance, and I remember like shaking one of the people in the ambulance, one of the workers, and was just like, save my daughter, save my daughter. And they immediately put her in the ambulance and took her away from me.
Wow.
Then at the scene, there was just helicopters, a bunch of, cop cars, everything. And the moment that detective walked up to me, I looked at him and I said, is my daughter dead? And he would not answer me. They immediately went into like asking me questions, and I couldn't even answer questions because all I wanted to do was be in the ambulance with my daughter, and they didn't let me. We then both had to get we both had to get in different cars, and they took us down to Harborview, questioning me the whole time. I was trying to answer as many questions as I can, but all I could think about was my daughter. So.
Wow. And, it's crazy because I was going to ask you something about that. And I still will, because something right now that you're telling me is really bothering me, is really hurting me bad. So they didn't even offer you any, like, trauma unit or anything like that. And so it sounds like they went straight to investigation and not really catering to your particular needs as a mother at the time. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct.
Okay, and then
that's their job. That's their job, but at the same time, like, nobody's coming to me with a correct answer, like, is my daughter alive or not?
Right, and that sticks out to me, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sticks out to me because it seems like in my mind, I get it where they have a job to do. I definitely get all that too, but you're still the mother of a kid, you know what I mean? And so, like, I was going to ask you that. Did they let you have time with your kid, or was the investigation, because I noticed you said that they did separate cars and different things like that, so they wouldn't even answer that, and they wanted to get right into the investigational part?
Correct. Once we got to Harborview, I was able to, they ended up leaving and going back to the crime scene or whatever, so I did get to see my daughter. She was on life support for 2 days. They finally, they had her in different surgeries trying to save her. The doctors finally came out a few hours later and told me that she was brain dead. By then, the hospital was like full of family members, people coming up there, newscast. It was crazy. But once they told me she was brain dead, of course, as a mother, I'm keeping my baby on child support, not child support, excuse me. I'm keeping her on life support. So we kept her on life support for 2 days, and on the 18th, the doctors did a final surgery, and they told me that they couldn't save her. We could keep her on life support, but she would be brain dead for the rest of her life, so she would just be laying there. So we made a decision to pull the plug. And we stayed there for maybe 8 hours later, and finally left the hospital. They took her, and immediately it was back to the investigation.
Wow. Let me ask you this. When you, from the time that you got arrested, the time that they took your baby, and then you had to go answer questions. How long was that between you answering questions and being at the hospital with your kid?
It was just for the ride there. So they just questioned me and recorded me the whole ride from Kent to Harborview. And then once we got to Harborview, I just jumped out of the car.
Right. Okay. Yeah, man, this is crazy.
But the
detectives did be tough. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh no, I was just saying the detectives came up there quite often. They, for their investigation, they took my cell phone. They questioned people there. Don't get me wrong. I loved my daughter's detectives. They were very good, very on their job. But I felt like at that moment it was too soon, too quick. But once I knew there were detectives there, I already knew in my head that my daughter was dead.
Right. So let me ask you this: you said they took your cell phone?
Yeah, they took our cell phones.
Oh, so you were they investigating you?
They were investigating the whole situation. Yes, they just wanted to and see if I had anything to do with the shooting or.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Just standard stuff. Just making sure. Right. Okay, I get it. Let me ask you this. So you had to make a decision to basically pull the plug then, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how were you as a mother able to process and continue to go on? Was there depression or how? Just if you could just explain just a little bit of how that looked like moving forward.
Absolutely. Depression hit hard from my whole family. I wasn't actually able to pull the plug. I had one of the doctors pull the plug, and that was probably the hardest decision in my life. Definitely depression still to this day.
Right. So what's your support group looking like right now? And what did it look like then?
Then it was everyone. Everyone was my cousin, my best friend, my family, and it slowly faded away. I still have a strong support system now, but not as big. Which I think it's kind of hard because I said at my daughter's funeral, don't just be here for now. I need people forever. And I think that kind of just left everybody's ear and went out the other. Which I understand people go on with their lives, but I would have thought this would have affected the community more than it did.
Right, yeah. And I got some questions about that community too, because I'm trying to figure this whole thing out, and don't get me wrong, I'm somebody that's perpetrated violence on the community as well, so I'm not innocent in anything, definitely not, but I'm at a point now where it's all about creating awareness, because I think a lot of the things that we do are just idiotic, but then I think when you cross the line like that, I don't think, and I just have to be honest, I got to do a little bit of the reading, I got to see a couple of pictures prior to doing this, and I have to be very honest and say I don't think that there's any way that somebody could have shot in your car and not seen your baby seat, and I just want to be transparent about that. And so there's a lot of work to do, and there should have been more community support and a better way to talk about this type of stuff so that this type of stuff doesn't happen. It's unacceptable.
Correct.
I want to know how long did it take you before you could even consider your life normal again, or do you even consider your life normal?
I definitely don't consider it normal. I mean, I think about my baby every day. There's good days, there's bad days. It took me almost a year, though, to, get back on my feet. I actually had to fight in the courts because my apartments that I was living in evicted me. 2 days after I pulled my daughter's plug, they gave me an eviction letter. So I had to go through all that. So I was actually homeless. I lost my car. I lost my job, and I lost my daughter. Um, so that was really hard. I was really depressed and in a deep, very deep, deep, dark place. Um, and I turned to alcohol, um, which was not good. It took me almost 6 to 8 months to finally, my son actually woke me up in my own throw up and told me, Mom, you need to, this is not you. I need my mom. And that instantly woke me up. And I woke up and I started applying for places, applying for jobs, went back to school, and got my head back on. I mean, I still had a kid I had to live for. And I also had my daughter's name to live for.
Wow. So yeah, and I thank you for even being able to share this type of stuff with us, because I think that what's missing is that we don't get to hear this type of stuff. We don't get to hear. See, people don't understand when we perpetrate these violences. We don't look at all that. We just that costs you your house, that costs you your family, your vehicle. Like somebody else can go out and their stuff can cost you everything you got going on. And I don't think that we realize that. And so, like, this is a platform for people to understand that part of it too, not just the gang part, but the stuff that comes with it. And I hope that if anyone's listening to this out there, then they understand. I'm really hoping that a lot of the younger kids will hear this stuff and they'll say, hey, I'm not with that, straight up.
Right.
And then I just wanted to know too, since we're already there, I just wanted to know, like, do you live with fear, and what kind of fears do you have?
I definitely live in fear every day. Sometimes, definitely every time I get in my car, I'm always looking in my mirrors, looking behind me. Even though it's been years gone by, I still fear for my child. He is a African American child, teenager now, growing up in this society. I fear for him. I fear for my family. Definitely live in fear. But, I can't block my life in fear. I still have to live. So I just got to keep going. But
do you find yourself nervous a lot of times when you get behind the wheel just because of what happened, where you're looking around, or do you have that kind of a phobia just when you get in the car? Do that type of stuff just resonate with you?
Absolutely. Every time I drive, yes. Yes.
And then you said something, too, just a moment ago, and I wanted to just kind of go into that a little bit. Like, you said that your child's African American, so you have a mixed child, and like, did you feel like at the time that there were some lack of supports because of the fact that you had a mixed child, or that there were people in the community that may or may not have turned their back on you just because of the choice you made to cross over and have a child by a black man?
Absolutely. I feel like people judge me, especially like after the news and the media and everything. A lot of people judged me because my child was half black. Absolutely.
Okay, and that's just the world we live in now. Where we're in a real trying time now, where people can't get past this color stuff. Where it's hidden a lot, but then when things like that happen, you start seeing true colors. And so, like, man, I know that sucks, but I've lived this life my whole life, and ain't no getting away from it. What I do want to know too is, like, you have another kid, so you were saying that you have to take him places and everything. How has this been? How has it been for him, traumatically, and just even moving forward?
Yeah, I have my son will be 16 this month. So he lost his sister when he was 8 years old. It has definitely affected him a lot. He keeps a lot of stuff in, but he tries to be strong for me. But it's definitely hard for him, for sure. Sometimes he has his days where, he breaks down, but he always has this, saying, I'm living for my sister, he does good in sports, he gets good grades, he's a very respectful child. But he's definitely hurt. This is going to affect him for the rest of his life, for sure. He was old enough to know it. He knows what happened. And I guess I kind of fear for him now that he's a teenager, like I said, living in this society, this community.
60 seconds remaining.
Right. Well, here's what I would say to you. Obviously I'm gonna hang up and call back, but what I would say to you is that, make sure that no matter what, we stay on top of that young man and make sure he has outlets to express himself and always talk about his feelings and process his feelings, because we don't want him wanting to join a gang for these things or feeling some kind of way. And those type of things could alter his life, but I'm going to call you back, but
You have 30 seconds remaining.
before I go, I want to know what's it like with your family members. And what I mean by that is just like dealing with moms and your father. Is it rough, or is there a fallout based on life choices? Is there tension, or is it just all love and support?
With my family, it's definitely all love and support, for sure.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna hang up and call you guys right back.
Okay.
This is a Global Talent prepaid call from
Robb.
an inmate at Stafford Creek Correction Center. This call will be recorded and monitored. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lisa, yeah, I wanted to know, I know it's been I know that you carried your child for 9 months, and obviously I know, there's no way I seen your baby. The baby's beautiful, baby. I know that you were probably super attached to your child. So I mean, I'm just wondering, if you can tell me how do you process every day? I know just a little bit ago you mentioned that you think about your baby every day. So how, obviously there's good days and there's bad days. So how do you process? How do you continue to soldier on, when you have those days where that's all you can think about?
So I just want to bring this up too. My daughter, when I was 6 months, I went to the doctor, and the doctors actually wanted me to abort my baby because she had a heart condition. Her right chamber was too small. It was never going to grow. I made the decision to keep my daughter, so I was actually back and forth to the doctors all the time. When I had my daughter, I didn't get to hold my daughter, nothing. I got to touch her finger from the incubator because she had to go straight into that, and then directly into heart surgery. So I felt like my daughter really fought to be here, and somebody stole her life from her. She had already had 2 heart surgeries before she was 1 year old. She would have had heart surgeries for the rest of her life. So she was definitely my miracle baby. And I mean, I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of people don't understand that too. So that really affects me, that I went through with this to have my daughter to be here, and somebody took her from me, from the gun. I would have, not saying okay, I would have been happier if my daughter died from her heart condition, but they stole her life from me. They stole her life from her after she fought to be here. When she did end up coming home, I wasn't able to have company over for the first couple months. People come in, I really had to be on it. People actually had to wear a mask. This was before COVID. They had to wash their hands just because she was super, sensitive. And we finally got to get out. She was healthy, doing good after her second heart surgery, and I took her to Disneyland. And she walked around Disneyland like she owned the place, and everybody just kept saying, she's a little angel baby, she's so beautiful. And a week later she got killed. I know that question, but I just wanted to bring that up because I don't think a lot of people
No, you are absolutely supposed to bring that up because this is your story, and this is the backstory. This is the in-depth information that people don't think about when these type of things happen. It's absolutely important that type of information is out there. It's available because people don't understand. When we commit these crimes, we don't understand the impact it has. Look, it's going to have an impact on you because you already were going through so much prior to that. you know, and like I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing that information with the public. And I also know that your baby's birthday was coming up. I believe your baby's birthday was this month. Am I right about that?
Yes, March 24th.
Okay. What have you done in the past for your baby's birthdays, and what are you going to do this year since she's been gone?
In the past, I've done a lot of like community events. I've rented out community centers, halls. I always do like live characters, face paintings, music, food. They've always been big events, doves. You know, I've had live dancers, singers. I've always tried to do something for the community, you know, to keep her name alive. The last 2 years, I haven't really been able to do anything big because of COVID. But this year, we are going to celebrate. I've rented out a bouncy house place, so we're going to be doing that this year for her birthday. It's more going to be just for, like, just close friends and family, though. I feel like I fought for the community, and honestly, every time I've done it, I felt like I've done it alone, and I would love to do it big, but it's hard to do it by yourself every year.
Right. Right. And no, it's good that you say that, because I had the next question I was going to ask you was, you know, what do you think, you know, as a community we can do to create more awareness? But more than that, I just want to know, what were some of your expectations early on from the community that were not met or being met?
I feel like it could have been more support, not even just for me, but just behind what it was, behind gun violence, behind gang violence. I feel like there's not as much support because it was related to gang violence. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think? Like, as far as like just creating more awareness, though. And you don't have to answer that now. You can answer it later if you think about it before we're done. Because I'm definitely open to. I'm definitely open to more ideas of how we can create more awareness on this type of stuff too. You know, so like I'm definitely open. And then I just want to know one more question about like support. Like when that happened to your baby, did you have a GoFundMe? And if so, was there good support on that?
We did do a GoFundMe. We raised a little bit of money, but I felt like it could have been more. But like I said, once the media got behind it, I felt like people kind of just fell back. The media talked before they knew anything. So I felt like it was like people like blamed my family or us, like that's what you get kind of mentality. So don't get me wrong, I did get a lot of support and a lot of help, but there's not enough help when somebody's taking a baby's life from you. Yeah.
No, I get it. I definitely get it, man. And yeah, man, it's just like, even when I first heard your story and I first read even just a small bit of it, like, bro, I was like tapped out for about 5-6 hours, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it just makes you reflect on your things, like, you know. And I can even say, even though I'm not from Seattle, I feel like even with some of the violence myself that I perpetrated, or just being in that gang lifestyle, led up to these points where other people are more reckless and lawless because they followed some of our leads, and then they start making their own rules. So, you know, I feel some culpability just because of my own ignorance, and that's why I want to really do this FRO work with the Filthy Rags Outreach. And so, like, I just wanted to know, like, you know, like I said before, there's no way for us to, like, do this work without acknowledging, like, the true impacts our actions have on society, you know. And, you know, people like yourself, you're a victim. And I just want to know, with you as a victim, is there really opportunity for us, like, you know, we're the bad guys, you know, to work closer with victims of violence, you know, because in my mind, the system's designed to drive a wedge between us. You know what I mean? And I don't know that you actually see that yet, but that's why I'm asking you, is there opportunities?
Absolutely. I feel like if more people that are victims or that have been through this situation, from losing a close family member or a child or a cousin or a sister behind this. If more people came together, we could spread more awareness, which is what I've always wanted to do. You know, if more people were willing to speak up, or we get together and go out as a community and talk to people and just make it louder.
Okay.
You know, well, people go on with their lives, obviously, yes, but this is a big impact on our community and the people that we love. And Seattle is a small city. It's a big city, but it's a small city. Everybody knows everybody. And when you take somebody, you're hurting a community. You're hurting people. You know, you might not like this person, but your friend might know that person, or might be that person's cousin or auntie or whatever, you know. And I don't think people realize that when they're behind the gun and they're shooting somebody, that you're not just affecting the parents, you're affecting everyone. You're affecting people that grew up together, or, you know, are friends with the people, or went to school with them, or whatever the situation is.
Right. And you're really painting a really good picture. You know, you're really saying a lot. You know, and that's true. That's everything that you said is absolutely true. You know, so I really thank you for that. And I don't want to peel back any scars or anything like that, but I do want to just go backwards for just a quick second. And I just want to know how many people were charged, and how many have been convicted, and are you going to still be going back to court?
Only one person has been charged. There were 4 people in the car. So my daughter's case is not closed. I don't know what will happen in the future. I pray every day and I hope that these other people are charged, or will come forward. And I mean, I just go day from day and wait for a phone call to say, you know, we're ready for your next trial. I'm sure there will be 3 more trials. I just don't know when, where, or who's going to speak up, or if someone's ever going to speak up. You know, there's this whole no snitch rule, but, you know, me growing up, it was always leave women and children out of it. So I can't put my mind to it that nobody, you know, a lot of people didn't speak up when they should have, or still haven't. And, you know, I don't care if 10 years go down. If people bring it up then, you know, this little girl still needs more justice.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree. What I want to know now is that, when you were done with your trial, did the court issue you a no contact between you and the accused?
Yes.
And down the line, would you ever, and I know it's still fresh, and so would you ever consider going to talk to that man?
Absolutely.
Okay, and it was important for me to ask that because, like, I've been through this type of stuff, and I understand the way things are designed. You know, when you get to that space, I mean, I think that there definitely should be a conversation because I don't know that you can heal from this. I don't have the answers, you know, but I know that people do live with regrets, and I know that a lot of times a person wants to apologize to their victims, but they're not able to. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. And what are you currently doing with your life?
Now I'm just focused on my son. I'm trying to get him into college. I'm working. I mean, that's it. Just living a basic family life. I went to school for early childhood education. I have my own lash brand that I just started. I'm actually going to start school again soon, in April, to learn how to do individual lashes. So I'm pretty excited about that, and makeup, and I like to travel. Yeah, that's it, really.
Well, we definitely appreciate you giving us an opportunity to put more of your story out there. We definitely pray that things get better, you know. And I'm going to say this before we get off here too. If I ever happen to run into the guy, you know, I'm going to sit down personally and we're going to just dialogue. You know, I think that that these are opportunities to create more awareness, more understanding. It's an opportunity for guys to offer, you know, sincere apologies and different things of that nature, because even if even if I'm involved in a murder and I didn't do it or I'm with somebody, I still am as culpable. You know what I mean? And so, like, I think that there has to be a point where we confront each other and we say, hey, bro, look, that wasn't right. You know, this lady deserves an apology or whatever. So if I ever see the gentleman, I'm going to do my part, you know, and that's my word to you, and I'll definitely speak to him. And I can only imagine that his ride's not that good because, you know, in the game, you know, that when a kid's involved, you know, people in the prison, they like to have their own justice too. So it's probably not the easiest ride for the guy. But what I wanted to say in closing is like, you know, thank you for the opportunity, because I feel like by you just coming on here, it's an opportunity for us to do meaningful work, you know. And so before I let you go, I would just ask that you, you know, add any videos or pictures of your daughter, you know, to our site, you know, so folks can really see and really understand. I mean, I think that it's going to be really clear with people listening to you. They're going to really be able to understand. And I think that the pictures just like puts more information to it, to where, you know, we understand the impacts of what's going on out there, but we also understand the impact that it's having on the victims out there. And then I just ask that we can continue to work together so that, like, we're just educating and learning from each other.
Right.
Is that all right with you?
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for reaching out and hearing my story.
Yep. Yep. And if you, and I know that you're going to be doing an event for your daughter on the 24th too, if you could definitely send us some pictures to the site too, because we want to definitely put that stuff up there. And we want to be able to, I want to say this too, we want to be able to actually work together to create more awareness. And so I think that, like, with the work that we're trying to do, I think there's an opportunity for you as well to, when we get more victims, to where we can have a victims panel or a victims advocacy group where, you know, we can try to do some healing and try to understand, because I think that the way that the system's designed right now is not designed to really give you all the help that you need. It's more designed to put a wedge between you and the other person, to where you are always going to be at some point enraged, or you're going to always have to relive this, or the next thing you know, then here comes the appeal. You got to relive this whole thing over, you know. And so, like, we want to try to work more together. And I definitely wanted to put that in your ear, you know, and just say, this isn't this. I don't want this to be the end for us.
Absolutely. I'm with it.
And Jessica, before I get off, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I just wanted to thank you for sharing your story and being so open. You know, I know you and I have talked a little bit, and I'm really excited to work with you and getting more awareness out there of, you know, gun and gang violence and the effect that it has on the community, and hopefully stopping some of it, preventing some of it.
Absolutely.
Now, Lisa, before we go, is there anything I missed? Anything you want to say to the people before we close out?
I don't. I mean, I'm with it. My main goal, I want to talk to people. I would love to, you know, travel to schools or juveniles, or, you know, if I could stop one person from being in a gang, or from making that decision not to go shoot somebody, or, you know, that'll make me feel good, and it'll make somebody feel good. It'll save somebody's life. So I'm with it. I appreciate you guys.
Well, we definitely appreciate you too. Hey, Jessica, Lisa, I just want to thank you guys for being here, and just I pray for both of you guys, and I definitely hope things can get better for you, Lisa. Stay tapped in with us and let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. All right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank you, and you guys, peace.